Hi, I'd like to show you my 1929 Reohd Flying Cloud Model C Brougham. It took 10 years to restore. I'm a retired electrical engineer now. This is a quick peek of the interior, which I'll show you more, but notice how nicely the door shuts. It's an AACA national winner. Received its first junior in 2010 in Canandaigua, New York. Got a trunk on the back, the correct leather gasket on it. Tools and so on can go in here. I have a key for the lock. Reohd made about 400 of these cars in 1929, and there are 4 left in the world. The trip lights were not original from the factory, but they've been added and they're period correct. You can see on the radiator, on front of the radiator here is the national first prize. It doesn't have an original honeycomb radiator, but it cools better, and I put some window screen in front of the radiator to keep it clean. Let's talk about the 1929 Reohd controls. I first showed this car in 2003 when I finished the restoration. It wasn't quite done yet. Here is the original selling plaque from the dealership in Syracuse, Van Denberg Company, when it was sold new. Working fuel gauge here, amperes, engine temperature, oil pressure, and of course the speedometer and the odometer. The overdrive is actuated by a switch here on the shifter. The controls on the steering wheel here are you have spark advance on the left, which isn't really used because I'm not hand cranking it. I'm using the electric starter. The parking lights are over here, and headlight low beam and high beam are there. This is a manual throttle, which is nice when it's cold because you can give it a little higher idle. It's got a foot throttle down here on the floor, starter button, and of course brake and clutch. Down here you've got a gasoline heater, which if while you're driving the car you pull that out, a few minutes later you'll have heat. Over here on the far left, which is hard to see, is a knob that engages the freewheeling function of the overdrive. You've got the blinkers here, which also will do 4 ways if you pull out that piece of it. Horn, of course. So let's go for a ride here. Oh, I forgot to mention there's an air door in the front. So choke is on the right. I've run this a minute ago, so I don't need that anymore. And on the left is a small knob that if you pull it out, tells you the amount of oil in the engine. If it only comes out just a little bit, the engine's full. If it comes out about 1/4 of an inch, you need to add 1 quart. 1/2 an inch, you need to add 2 quarts, and so on. So let's start it. Okay, she's running. Brake on, clutch in, parking brake off. Now first gear is quite low. Second. Now I'm going to set it up so freewheeling will work now. So with freewheeling, the car will coast and the engine will idle. able to use overdrive in second or third, and I'm now going fast enough in second gear that I can engage overdrive. So all you do to engage overdrive is flip the switch, your foot off the gas, and now we're in overdrive. And if you want to take it out of overdrive, you just flip the switch down, and it drops back. There's third. There's third overdrive. Oil pressure's good here, over 20 pounds at idle. I rev it up a little bit, it goes right to 30. This gauge is interesting. Charging is to the left, so the generator's charging, and we're about 140 degrees. There's what slow idle is like. To go in reverse, I have to take it out of overdrive. And you can hear that straight cut gear in the transmission. It's probably good.